In modern times, dozens of classic shows have been given the reboot treatment. Recently, for example, we learned that the iconic Cheers spinoff, Frasier, will be resurrected from the dead. Then you have shows like Bel-Air, a modern re-envisioning of the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, as well as remake series like Dynasty, Walker, and Hawaii Five-0. Instead of taking a look at these shows, though, in this video we'll be taking a look at classic TV shows that were canceled only to be immediately brought back from the grave. Diff'rent Strokes. In Season 6 of this classic sitcom, which featured the likes of Gary Coleman, Todd Bridges, and Conrad Bain, the writers decided to add a couple fresh new faces to the cast to try to freshen things up and open it up for future plotlines. First, we had Maggie, an aerobics instructor played by Dixie Carter. Then you had Maggie's son Sam, a young kid played by Danny Cooksey, who served as Arnold's little sidekick. At one point, Maggie took off abruptly to California. Drummond and the kids then took off after her. At the end of the two-part episode Hooray for Hollywood, we're formally introduced to Sam. Philip proposes to Maggie and they get married, giving Arnold the little brother he always wanted, as well as a new stepmom. The introduction of Maggie and Sam unfortunately didn't boost the show's ratings. Throughout Season 7, Diff'rent Strokes was basically in a ratings freefall, and in the spring of 1986, NBC decided to finally cancel it. That's when ABC stepped in and picked up the series for an 8th season, which was aired on Friday nights, a time slot known for being the so-called death slot. Despite giving the show a fresh coat of paint with a new title sequence and updated re-recorded poppier variant of its theme song, Diff'rent Strokes was unable to pull itself out of its ratings lull. It had clearly run its course. Before the series ended, however, one last addition was made to the cast. Jason Harvey was cast to play the semi-regular character Charlie, another one of Arnold's school friends. While Charlie was a pleasant enough character, he wasn't enough to save the show from the inevitable. After 19 episodes of the proposed 22, ABC canceled Diff'rent Strokes for good. Dragnet. Dragnet originally aired on NBC from 1951 to 59. After being off the air for almost 7 years, the show's creator and star, Jack Webb, relaunched Dragnet in 1966 with NBC once again. Webb wanted Ben Alexander to join him on screen again as Frank Smith, but Alexander was unfortunately already committed to the ABC series Felony Squad. Reluctantly, Webb came up with a new character to fill in for the role of his partner Joe Friday. This time around, his longtime friend Harry Morgan was brought in to play Officer Bill Gannon. Unlike the previous Dragnet series, this new incarnation of the series was aired in color. It enjoyed fairly good ratings for 4 seasons, although its popularity was never quite able to match or exceed that of the 1950s original. Just as he had done with the previous series, Webb eventually made the decision to voluntarily bring Dragnet to an end sometime during its 4th season to switch focus to producing and directing his other shows like Adam 12. But instead of immediately wrapping up the series, Webb made sure it received a cathartic and satisfying ending. Dragnet came to an end after running 7 seasons at the end of 1975. Hazel. After airing 4 seasons on NBC, the network decided to put an end to this quirky sitcom about a spunky live-in maid named Hazel Burke. But just as things played out with Diff'rent Strokes, Hazel was picked up by CBS for what would prove to be its 5th and final season. To try to connect with a younger audience, Don DeFore and Whitney Blake were dropped from the cast. Their departure was explained by saying they had moved to Baghdad for George's work. Hazel and Harold, who apparently didn't go overseas with his parents since he couldn't afford to miss out on schooling, ended up moving in with George's previously never mentioned before younger brother Steve. These kinds of radical Hail Mary-like show-changing moves are typical of a series that is on its deathbed. In a last-ditch effort, producers decide to shake things up to see if the new changes will appeal to a wider audience, but usually it doesn't work. Not surprisingly, Hazel was canceled abruptly after the 5th season. Leave It To Beaver. The Leave It To Beaver we all know and love almost failed to launch. After airing its first season on CBS, where it received disappointing Nielsen ratings, the network canceled it. That's when ABC decided to save the day by picking up the show. And while it never managed to enter the top 30 list of television shows, its ratings were solid enough to warrant keeping it around for a 5-season run. By the beginning of the 1962-63 season, however, the show was beginning to show signs of running out of steam. Jerry Mathers wanted to retire from acting at the end of the 6th season so he could attend a regular high school. Because of this, the series ended on June 20th, 1963. My Three Sons. This Peter Tewksbury-directed series premiered in black and white on ABC in 1960. The first 5 seasons aired on this network, but following the '64 season, it made the jump to CBS and the transition to color. It aired for another 6 seasons before ending in 1972. Interestingly, this is one of the few TV shows that jumped ship to a rival network only to experience a boost in the ratings. My Three Sons continued to appear on the top 30 list of most watched TV shows until its 12th and final season. The Bionic Woman. This action-adventure series about a lady hero played by Lindsay Wagner, who is equipped with top-secret superhuman cybernetic augmentations, got its start as a spin-off of The $6 Million Man. Despite its relatively short run, The Bionic Woman proved to be enormously popular. Not only did it perform well in the US, but it also enjoyed a wide audience in the UK, where it became the only sci-fi series to achieve a #1 position in the ratings in the 20th century. The first of 3 seasons of the program aired on ABC. It was then canceled, only to be picked up by NBC for its 4th and final season. Years after it was officially canceled, The Bionic Woman returned for a series of 3 spin-off TV films produced between 1987 and '94. Kojak. This action crime drama series has been included on numerous lists of the greatest TV shows of all time. It starred Telly Savalas in the role of Kojak, a New York City police detective who had a knack for solving seemingly unsolvable crimes. Kojak aired on CBS for 5 seasons from 1973 to '78. After being canceled, Telly Savalas reprised his role as Kojak for 7 TV films. In March of 2005, decades after the last Kojak TV film aired, a new Kojak series premiered on USA. The reworked version of the show featured Ving Rhames as the title character. Crossroads. Crossroads was an anthology series based on the activity of clergy members representing several different denominations. The first season aired on ABC in 1955. It was canceled by the network for low ratings, but renewed for a second season that aired in syndication from 1956 to 1957. The Ghost and Mrs. Muir. This sitcom, based on the 1947 movie of the same name, which was in turn based on a novel by R.A. Dick that hit bookshelves in 1945, premiered on NBC in 1966. The network canceled the show after its first season aired, but ABC swooped in and saved it, airing one last season in 1969. The Joey Bishop Show. Here we have another sitcom saved from the axe of network cancellation by a rival network. The series, which starred entertainer Joey Bishop, aired on NBC from 1961 to '64. After the network canned it, The Joey Bishop Show was picked up by CBS, where it aired its 4th and final season. The series was actually a spin-off of The Danny Thomas Show, which got its start on one network only to hop to another. It debuted on ABC in 1953 and got picked up by CBS in '57. It remained a success for the network until its cancellation in 1964. Now it's time to hear from you. Are you a fan of any of these shows? Let us know in the comments section below. And before you go, make sure you give this video a like and subscribe to Factsverse if you haven't already. Click the bell icon to stay updated on all our latest content.